What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with the MLB Power Rankings Week 18. As always, we are doing our giveaway at 500 subscribers, so make sure you are subscribed to the channel. So hit that button below. But this week, I'll be talking about all 30 teams and where they rank heading into the trade deadline. And before I do that, we got to talk about the hitters of the week. And Pete Alonso and Whit Merrifield were playing some great baseball last week. Alonso hit 4 home runs, had two home run games and 12 RBIs. Merrifield had a 464 average, 2 home runs, 7 RBIs, and most of that damage came in one game on the road against the Dodgers, and he was a big factor in that win. But these two guys, they kind of have not fallen off, but haven't had their best years this year. But maybe this week can turn them around heading into August. And then the pitchers of the week, you have Steven Matz, who looks like he's starting to turn it around, put up 2 quality starts for the Cardinals in 12 innings pitched, didn't give up a run, and he only gave up 9 hits in 12 innings, where Aaron Savell, he actually just got traded today. And I think it's a good trade. He's going to Tampa. Tampa needs pitching, and he's getting out of Cleveland, where Tampa more than likely will be making the playoffs, and he will be playing some competitive baseball. And last week, he went and threw an 8 inning gem against Kansas City in a win, and then, had some rocky outing, but had another quality start. But I think he will be a good addition to the Rays to keep them afloat in that AL East race. The dogs of the week are none other than the Chicago Cubs. This team just 2 weeks ago more than likely was going to be sellers selling Cody Bellinger and Marcus Stroman. But here they are. They won their 10 out of their last 12, and now they are right back in the hunt, only 4 games back in the NL Central and 3.5 in the wild card. And does that mean this team's going to be buyers? So far, I haven't seen the trade. It's late July 31st. They haven't traded anyone, and they haven't brought in anyone as well. Or sorry, they have brought in Candelario from the Nationals. He's back in Chicago. So they did bring in some reinforcements for third. But other than that, I don't see this team really, buying a lot. I think they have enough to get to the playoffs, but they just need to keep this hot play up because they got 2 playoff teams more than likely this week, Cincinnati and Atlanta at home. And I think if you can go 3-4, 4-3, I think it's a solid week, and you got to chalk that up as W just because Atlanta's been really good. And Cincinnati, well, they are leading the division. So if you can get a few games on them, you're right back in it. The duds of the week are none other than the Minnesota Twins. This team is very confusing to me. They went 1-5 last week. They lost 2 of the 3 to Seattle, and their only win against Seattle or last week even was in a walk-off on Monday night. And their last one before that was a walk-off. So this team has played some baseball that, is putting up some red flags right now. They scored 31 runs in 6 games. So they can score. That's not the problem. It's just the pitching has been the problem. They have a half a game lead in the AL Central over Cleveland. Shouldn't say Toronto, over Cleveland. And their thing is, are they going to go out and make a move and possibly bring some help in? I know they traded Jorge Lopez for Dylan Floro from Miami. Nothing really changing the course of Major League Baseball, but maybe it's a fresh arm that they can get in there and maybe resurrect his career. But these Twins, I don't get it. I mean, my Tigers gained a game last week, and they went 2-5, and they still gained on them. That's not good. And then you have the biggest movers of the week before we show the full rankings. Cubs obviously had a great week, so they're moving up. Pirates and Padres as well. And then some teams that more than likely could be playoff teams are all moving down with the Diamondbacks, Twins, and Guardians. We'll move to 30 to 21, and all these teams except the Mets are moving in some way, shape, or form. Oakland and Kansas City, like I predicted last week, will just flip back to their 29 and 30. Colorado moving down 2 after 2-4 week. White Sox, Nationals, and Pirates are all moving up. After the Pirates had a good 4-2 week. My Tigers went 2-5. They're moving down 1. The Cardinals moving up 1 after 3-4 week. Mets stay put even after going 4-2. And the Guardians, I'm moving them back down here because they are sellers at the deadline. And I know they went 4-3 and they're only half game back, but they're getting rid of some key players on that team. And I think sooner or later, you're going to start to see them slowly decline. Maybe leaving the door open for the Twins to run away with this thing, rather by the end of August, maybe. I don't know. It just depends on how those Tigers and Guardians play. But since we're talking about the division, we got to give credit to the Royals last week, going and sweeping Minnesota at home, really keeping everyone else's hopes alive in the AL Central. 20 through 11, we do have Minnesota at number 20, moving down 3 spots after going 1-5 last week. 54 and 53 isn't going to cut it. If you go 81 and 81 and win your division, you do get to host a playoff game, but more than likely, you probably are going to be the upset pick of the year. And the Padres moving up 2 as well after their 4-2 week, and maybe they're going to be back on track here. Diamondbacks starting to fall flat on their face. They're only 6 games above 500 after their hot start, and they're not having a good time out of the All-Star break. The Marlins looked like they figured it out last week, going 3-2 last week, splitting with Tampa and taking 2 of 3 from the Tigers. The Cubs, 10, as I talked about earlier, 10-2 in their last 12. They're over 500, so they're moving up yet again. Mariners and Yankees move up 1 spot because of the Diamondbacks falling down. Angels stay put, 4 games over 500, adding some reinforcements last week at the deadline. And could they make another move before the 4 p.m. deadline later? The Phillies moved down 2 out of the top 10 after their 500 week, and they fell out of the last wild card spot. And then the Giants are moving up 1 as they go 4-2 and gain a bigger lead on the next 2 wild card spots. Then in the top 10, it all comes down to this. You have some more movement. You only had 5 teams stay put this week. The Red Sox moved down 1 even after a winning week. The Reds move up 2 after going 3-3, and they played some good baseball against the Dodgers and really showed me that this team can compete. But India is going on the IL, so that's going to be a gut wrench to them, and hopefully they can really move around that and still play well with him out. The Brewers stay put, going 2-4. The Reds do have that half-game lead on them, but the Brewers, I think, right now are more equipped to have that number 8 than the Reds. Rangers move down 3 after their horrific week. Blue Jays move up 1. Dodgers move down 2 after their tough week, but they got some reinforcements coming. Med Rosario, Kike Hernandez, Lance Lynn, and Joe Kelly, and possibly maybe either Erod or Verlander. They're linked to those guys too. So Dodgers could be buyers still at the deadline. Same with the Astros, Verlander or Erod, maybe even Lorenzen. One of those 3, I think, will be an Astro. Then Tampa obviously made the move today for Savell from Cleveland, and that's going to help them get better as they're a game and a half back from Baltimore. And Baltimore, speaking of them, really took it to the Yankees this weekend, showed them that they are the second best team in this division right now, the best team in this division right now. And I think they can run away with it. They definitely need a pitcher as well. And there's not too many. Just my Tigers are offering them Verlander if he does opt out of his no trade clause. And other than that, not too many big names on the market unless Blake Snell and the Padres are actually going to sell. That's it for number 2. And of course, number 1, I do have the Atlanta Braves, who have been playing the best baseball since the start of June. Acuna probably going to run away with MVP here, bearing any injuries. Hopefully he doesn't get any. The Braves, I really don't expect them to add to their team right now. Maybe some bullpen help. That's about it. And maybe like a platoon guy. But I can't see the Braves really going out and making some earth-shattering moves here just because they're loaded all around. And they've got a team that looks like they could win a World Series and maybe even in 4 in a sweep or in 5. I think the Braves really have a talented roster. And right now, they're my pick to win it all. But that's going to be it for this week's video. Make sure you guys come back next week to see where your favorite team ranks and if the Braves can still hold on to that number 1 spot. But until the next time, the Bench Buddies are out.